In order for any pivot table to exist, there must be, first and foremost, underlying data. As long as you have data set up in column format, your pivot table will work just fine. So step one to creating a pivot table. Step one is to go up here to your tabs at the very top. Pivot tables are located under the Insert tab, and on the Insert ribbon over in the left-hand corner is Pivot Tables. So step two is to click on this pivot table thumbnail, and what will happen is this box will come up. It's Create Pivot Table box. So step three is to identify our table range. In order to do that, we have to click on this arrow, go over here and highlight our data, go back over here so our table range is locked in. Then, as step 4, we need to tell Excel where we would like to place our pivot table. Excel gives us two options. We can either A, put it in a new worksheet, and by clicking this and clicking OK, Excel will open up a brand new worksheet down here in the bottom left-hand corner, and that is where it will place your pivot table. Second option is to place your pivot table in the existing worksheet with your data. For this tutorial's purpose, we're going to click on the existing worksheet option. And because the green box is sitting out here, it's going to put us in our pivot table in cell F6. Now if we click this arrow, we can click another box and it will move it to that spot. So in this case, now it's on cell F13 is where our pivot table will start. Click OK. Alright, two things happen by clicking OK. The first is Excel basically gave us our canvas. This canvas is what activates the pivot table fields box off to the right. Now within this pivot table fields box are different fields or headers that correspond to your original data. So if you look at each one of these and then you go over to the original data, you will see that the headers are the same. Now, in order to create a pivot table, you must move these headers down into one of these four boxes. The filters box allows you to focus your data or the information within your pivot table on what you want to know most. Columns allows you to create column headers to easily organize your information within your pivot table. Rows does the exact opposite. It allows you to create row headers for the records within your pivot table. And the values box, this is where all the quantitative information or your numerical data goes. What we're going to do is we're going to take this type of household and we're going to place it up here in filters. We're going to take renter occupied, put it over here, and we're going to take total households and put it right here. Now, what I want you to notice is before I put that total households right there, there was nothing in this box. But once I put the total households in there, which is because I have two different fields inside of the values box, it created this sum values. This sum values basically creates a default for headers. So now we have a default column header. So renter occupied, total households. So it breaks our data apart so it's not lumped together. Now over here is our pivot table. So up top, filters has all of our detail, which is in our original data. We can select on any one of those by clicking. We can either click on this, select multiple items, and then go up here and just click the one we want. Let's just say male householder with no wife. Click OK, and then it will change the information that's in here. We can go back up here in filters, unclick this, and click female household only. Click OK, and it'll change the information in here. Now say we want to see the breakout, and say we want to have multiple things selected. Well, if we go in here and just click multiple options and click OK, it's going to say multiple items up here, and it's going to add them both together. Now if we want to see the detail, then we have to go back over here to the pivot table fields, take type of household, and move it down to rows. By moving this down to rows, now we can see the detail over in our pivot table for each of our selections. Now if we want to, in a way that's easy to read, we can always format it by clicking in the box, right clicking, going to value field settings, and then like anything else, this box is pretty familiar. We'll go to number format. We'll go to number, click on our decimal or comma separators, get rid of our decimals, and click OK. And then we'll click OK again. Do the same thing over here, right click, value field settings, number format, number, commas, get rid of decimals, click OK, click OK. And believe it or not, you have created your very first pivot table.